Gemini, July 31st, I'm seeing a collapse first. Not a soft one, a real one. The kind where you stare at your phone after bad news and you don't even know what to do with your hands. Something has been carrying too much weight for too long, and this is saying it drops now. You knew this already. You were trying to keep it moving after it was already done. Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords is the ending that makes the truth impossible to dodge. This is the moment where the mental loop breaks because it cannot keep running. The text stopped making sense. The conversation goes cold. The thing you kept trying to revive is flat on the floor. Don't lie to yourself. This is not a small inconvenience. It is a worn out pattern hitting rock bottom. The move here is not to fix it in the dark. It is to name it. Let the ending be real. Let the goodbye be the goodbye. Then rest after impact. Not tomorrow, after impact. Actually, no, let me rephrase that. This is not asking you to perform strength. It is asking you to stop forcing continuation. If you have been crying in the car before work, if you have been reading the same message over and over, if you have been knowing it's over but delaying the goodbye, that is the exact behavior this moment exposes. The collapse is not your identity. It is the end of a mental structure that was already failing. Do not turn pain into a personality. Just because it fell apart does not mean you are broken beyond repair. Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands comes in right after the break, and it moves fast. Messages, updates, sudden openings, a flood of text after silence. News arriving all at once, travel plans changing. Eight of Wands does not let you sit in the wreckage forever. It says respond quickly. Act on the opening. Follow the momentum while it is live. If the thing that collapsed made space, then something is already trying to move through that space because the speed matters. Eight of Wands is not asking you to overthink the timing. It is asking you not to freeze when things accelerate. There is a difference between alignment and panic. There is a difference between movement and certainty. So if the call comes, answer. If the message lands, read it. If the opportunity opens, step in. Do not miss the message because you are still staring at what ended. Page of Wands. Page of Wands is the first spark after the smoke clears. This card is curiosity, initiative, a restless little pull towards something new. Maybe you start saving ideas in your notes app again. Maybe you suddenly want to learn something, make something, go somewhere different, talk to somebody new. The page does not demand mastery, it just wants the first step. Follow the spark lightly, explore, test it. See what catches, and this is important because Gemini, you can confuse novelty with purpose if you move too fast. Page of Wands says stay open, but do not start something just to avoid the quiet after the ending. Let the spark prove itself. Let it be small first. Let it be real first. This moment is not saying the collapse was the whole story. It is saying the collapse exposed what could no longer be carried, and now the path opens where the weight used to be. Gemini, July 31st. This is not soft. It starts with the truth already on the table. 10 of Swords. This card is the clean collapse. The thing already broke and you keep staring at the phone like the next text is going to change the ending. It will not. The work here is not to rescue it. The work is to name that it is over, let the goodbye be real, and stop dragging a dead pattern through your day. Three of Swords. This card is the sting after the break. I'm seeing you reread the same message maybe 3 times, maybe 10, like the words will rearrange themselves if you look long enough. They won't. This is grief, plain and sharp. Say what hurts. Stop acting like being fine is the same thing as being healed. Actually, no, let me rephrase that. Stop dressing pain up as strength. If it hurts in your chest, it hurts, period. 8 of Wands. This card is the shift. After the silence, the pace changes fast. Messages come in all at once. Plans move. News lands before you finish processing the last thing. Do not freeze here. Respond. Move. Answer the text. Check the email. Book the thing. The momentum is real, but don't confuse speed with certainty. Just because it arrives fast does not mean you skip discernment. Page of Wands. This card is the spark after the storms. The spark is small, but it is honest. You are suddenly curious about a different path, a different project, a different version of your life. Maybe it is in your notes app. Maybe it is a random idea you keep saving and revisiting. Follow that lightly. You do not need mastery right now. You need initiation. You need to try the first step without killing it with perfection. For Gemini, this moment is about release, then motion, then curiosity. First the ending, then the grief, then the message. Then the spark. That is the order. So if you've been sitting in the wreckage, still checking, still waiting, still hoping the old thing will stand back up, stop. The collapse is not your identity. It is a passage. Rest after the impact. Let the silence do its work. And when the opening comes, do not overthink it. Answer. Move, say yes to the first clear sign. Then let the Page of Wands lead you toward what feels new enough to matter, but small enough to begin. That is the energy here. Clean ending, real grief. Fast movement, fresh fire. Gemini, July 31st. Let me be blunt. The 10 of Swords is here, and the 10 of Swords is not asking for another explanation. The 10 of Swords is the part where you already know the thing is done, but you still keep checking your phone like the answer might change. That is the behavior. That is the pattern. You got the bad news, and then you kept staring at it. You cried in the car, then went inside and acted normal. Actually, no, you did not act normal. You just kept moving with the wound open. The Three of Swords is the next hit, and the Three of Swords is the sharp truth you keep touching with your bare hands. The Three of Swords shows the replay, the text read again, the conversation at 3 a.m., the sting in the chest when you remember exactly what was said. You are not confused. You are hurt. There is a difference. Stop calling it processing if what you are doing is circling the same sentence because you do not want to admit it cut deep. The Two of Wands comes in and it changes the room. The Two of Wands is the pause before movement, the map on the table, the pros and cons list at midnight, the tab open for flights or job listings, the life you keep imagining that is bigger than this current mess. This is not the place to stay frozen. This is the place to choose. You do not need perfect certainty. You need a direction. You need to stop standing in the doorway of your own life. Then the Eight of Wands hits, and the Eight of Wands is fast. Messages, replies, a flood after silence, news arriving all at once. The Eight of Wands does not wait for you to be emotionally ready, and that is the point. When the opening comes, respond. When the text comes in, answer it. When the plan starts moving, move with it. Do not sit there overthinking the timing while the moment passes you by. Speed is not the same as certainty, but it is an opening. You can work with an opening, and then the Page of Wands shows up with that fresh, restless spark. The Page of Wands is the part of you saving ideas in your notes app, suddenly wanting a different life, suddenly wanting to try something, go somewhere, start over in a smaller, cleaner way. I'm seeing curiosity, not mastery. Good. You do not need to know the whole path. You only need to catch the first spark and not smother it with doubt. Experiment lightly. Follow the impulse before you talk yourself out of it. So here is the moment, Gemini. The ending is real. The grief is real. The plan is there. The message can come through. And the new spark is already tapping at the door. Stop feeding the collapse with your attention. Let it be over. Then choose, then move, then answer, then begin. Gemini, July 31st, because this turns fast. 10 of Swords, this is the collapse. The text came through, the tone changed, and you kept staring at your phone like staring harder would fix it. It won't. 10 of Swords says the mental loop is done. The thing you kept defending is already on the floor. Actually, no, let me rephrase that. It is not just having a hard time. It is over enough to name it. The move now is simple. Stop making it mean you failed. Sit with the impact. Cry in the car if you have to. But do not keep calling dead air a conversation. 3 of Swords. This is the sting. The reading. The 3 a.m. replay. Three of Swords is not asking you to perform heartbreak like it is proof of depth. It is asking you to say what hurts out loud. To somebody real, or at least to yourself without editing it. I'm seeing the chest tight moment, the one where you swallow the words and act fine at work. Don't do that. Don't dress the wound up and call it strength. Let it be sharp. Let it be honest. Grief is not a personality. It is a response. Death reverse. This is where the resistance shows. Death reversed is the part of you still rearranging the same dead-end routine and pretending that counts as change. You keep the thread, keep the habit, keep the door half open. Why? Because the familiar hurts in a way you know. But this card says the old form is expired, not tired. Expired. The ending needs to be admitted. If you keep polishing what is already gone, you are just delaying the release. Don't fool yourself. That delay is not safety. Two of Wands, and here is the pivot. Two of Wands is the first real look ahead, not fantasy. Not denial. A choice. Two of Wands is you at the edge, checking the map, checking the flights, checking the job listing, checking the next move, because staying in the rubble is no longer the plan. This card says look beyond the current pain. Pick a direction, not forever. Just next. The power is in deciding before you feel fully ready. Waiting for perfect certainty will keep you stuck in the same room with the same ghost. Eight of Wands. Then it moves. Fast messages, openings, a flood of contact after silence. Eight of Wands says once you stop fighting the ending, momentum comes back in a rush. Respond quickly. Do not freeze when it starts speeding up. This is not the time to overthink the timing of the text, the invite, the news, the shift. The door is opening because you finally stopped leaning on the closed one. Page of Wands, and this is the spark after the wreckage. Page of Wands is the little restless yes, the note in your phone, the idea you almost dismissed because it feels too early, too small, too new. It is not asking for mastery. It is asking for curiosity. Follow the spark. Try the thing. Explore lightly. Gemini, this is the chapter where the future path appears, but only after you admit what has ended. That is the key. Release first, then the next life can actually find you. Gemini, July 31st. This is where the truth stops waiting. The High Priestess. You already knew something was off. You check the tone, the timing, the silence. You read the room before anybody said a word. And then you went quiet because your body clocked it first. Stop fooling yourself. The answer was forming in the pause, not in the noise. Three of Swords, this one is the sting. You open the text again. You stared at the same line. You felt that hit in your chest and tried to keep moving like nothing happened. Actually, no, that is not nothing. Three of Swords is the moment you admit that hurt, not for drama. For release, say what broke. Stop acting like you can outwork a wound. Death reversed. This is where the moment gets sticky. Death reversed is resistance. You kept the routine. You kept the thread alive. You kept checking, hoping, waiting for the dead thing to become alive again. Hold on. That is not loyalty. That is delay. Something already ended, and you are rearranging your life around a form that has expired. 10 of Swords, and here is the collapse under it. 10 of Swords is the bad news, the crash, the moment you sit in the car before work and just stare ahead because you cannot pretend anymore. You know it is over. You know the mental loop has burned itself out. Name it clean. Let the ending be real. Then stop touching the bruise. The High Priestess again. After the pain, the inner voice gets louder. Not louder like panic, louder like certainty. You feel it in your gut. You know what not to answer. You know what not to reopen. You know which message would pull you backward. Listen inwardly. Protect your energy. The truth is not asking for a committee. Two of Wands. Now the future shows up, not all at once, just enough to choose. You are looking at the next move, the next route, the next version of your life. Maybe is a job tab open. Maybe it is a flight search. Maybe it is you making a list at midnight because staying where you are is no longer the plan. Two of Wands says map it. Pick direction. Stop waiting for perfect certainty. Eight of Wands, and then it moves fast. Messages, replies, news. A sudden opening. A flood after silence. Let me rephrase that. Once you stop dragging the dead weight, momentum finds you. Eight of Wands is the part where the delay breaks and everything starts arriving at once. Answer quickly. Do not freeze because it finally got real. Page of Wands. Then the spark, small, bright, restless. You start saving ideas. You start thinking, what if I just try? Page of Wands is not mastery. It is curiosity with a pulse. Follow the first impulse. Test the path lightly. Gemini, this is your sign to move toward what is opening, not what is finished. So the moment is simple. Admit the loss. Feel the cut. Stop feeding the old form. Then choose. Because once release is honest, the future can finally come through. July 31st, Gemini, and I need you to be real with me for a second. This is not asking you to keep carrying dead weight. It is asking you to stop pretending the collapse. You can no longer deny from this still, pretending it can hold the shape of your life. Ten of Swords. This card is the collapse, the ending that already happened. The text you reread after the bad news, the car cry before work, the part where you know it is over, but you still delay the goodbye. Do not dress this up. Do not call it healing if you are still checking the same thread, the same page, the same silence. Ten of Swords says the truth is done. Let it be done. Three of Swords, this card is the sting, the chest pain, the 3M replay. The conversation you keep running back through because your mind thinks if it reviews the wound enough, it will change the outcome. It will not. Actually, no, let me rephrase that. The pain is real, but the replay is optional. Say what hurts. Admit where it cut. Stop acting like being numb is the same thing as being strong. Death reversed. This is where Gemini gets stuck if you are not careful. Death reversed is resistance to the clean cut. It is keeping the dead routine because at least it is familiar. It is holding on to the relationship after it already went cold. It is rearranging your life without changing the actual pattern. You already knew that. The old form is expired. Stop calling delay safety. Stop calling inertia loyalty. The High Priestess, wait. This is the quiet knowing beneath the noise from the High Priestess, is the knowing that shows up before the proof does. The stomach drop, the sudden stillness. The moment you feel something is off and you do not have language for it yet. The High Priestess says, do not talk yourself out of what your body already clocked. Do not force an answer. Sit with the signal. Protect your energy. Let the truth form in silence. Two of Wands. Now we move. Not fast yet. First, choose. Two of Wands is the midnight list. The job search. The flight page. The life you keep imagining because the current one has gone stale. Two of Wands is not about panic. It is about direction. Map the next step. Look past the grief. Look past the collapse. Decide where your power goes next. Do not confuse planning with movement, but do not stay frozen either. Eight of Wands, and then it hits messages. Movement, a sudden opening, a flood after silence. Eight of Wands says the delay breaks, and when it breaks quickly. Respond. Do not sit on the notification. Do not overthink the timing. If the door opens, walk through it. If the text comes in, answer it. If the news lands, move with it. Momentum is here, and it does not wait around for you to feel fully ready. Page of Wands. This is the spark after the storm. The little restless feeling that says, I want something different. A note in your phone, a new idea. A weird little impulse to start fresh, even if you do not know the whole plan yet. Page of Wands is not asking for mastery. It is asking for curiosity. Follow the spark. Experiment lightly. Let yourself want more than the old ending. So the moment is simple. The dead thing has to stay dead. The wound has to be named. The intuition has to be trusted. Then the signal comes and the new path starts talking back. Release the dead weight and trust the next signal. That is the whole move. Okay. That's all I've got for now. If this hit, you already know what to do. Please like, subscribe, tell your group chat. I'll see y'all soon.